Okay, so we're back and ready to dive into another fascinating story.
Yeah, should be a good one.
This one is really going to get you thinking. I think we're looking into the sentencing of former Senator Bob Menendez.
Definitely a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got a whole stack of articles here, about the case.
Absolutely.
But
Oh
we
my
could
God.
try to sort of distill it down, to the most important stuff for you.
Yeah, I think the real interesting thing here is that this case kind of goes way beyond, just one politician.
Right.
It really gets you thinking about, the role of money
Yeah.
in politics and how that impacts,
Right.
the average person.
How much can we trust our government type of stuff?
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So for those who haven't been following along super closely, Menendez was accused of accepting bribes from a Florida eye doctor,
Right. Salomon Melgen.
Salman Milgen. Yeah, and we're talking, extravagant stuff like private jet flights,
Oh, yeah.
luxurious vacations,
Hmm.
like really high-end stuff.
Even gold bars.
Even gold
Or
bars.
like straight up gold bars.
Crazy, yeah. So, and all this was allegedly in exchange for political favors.
Right. And it wasn't just like, small favors either.
Right.
Like some of these articles highlight how Menendez stepped in to help this doctor with a Medicare billing dispute worth like millions of dollars.
Wow.
Millions.
Yeah.
It also claims that he pushed to get Melgen, this lucrative tort security contract in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's like really high-stakes stuff we're talking about.
Oh yeah, this is big time stuff.
Yeah. So, now the first trial was back in 2017, right?
Yeah.
And that actually ended up with a hung jury.
Right. They couldn't reach a decision.
They couldn't decide.
So it was a
That
mistrial.
was mistrial.
So, but then the Justice Department decided to retry the case.
Yeah, they went back at it.
And that time,
Yeah.
Menendez was found guilty.
Guilty of bribery and corruption.
Yeah. So
That's where I think it gets really
it
interesting.
is interesting, yeah. Like, if you think about it, how do you actually go about, proving corruption in court?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not always, black and white.
Yeah.
It's not like, robbery or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, prosecutors, they had to show a direct link.
Yeah.
A quid pro quo
Right.
between, the gifts and the actions.
The gifts that Menendez was receiving and what he was doing for Melkin.
Exactly. And that's not an easy thing to do.
No, not at all.
Especially, in the world of politics where there's always so much going on behind the scenes.
Right. So much gray area.
Exactly. So you can imagine how hard it must have been to connect those dots.
Yeah. So ultimately he was sentenced to 1 year and 10 months in prison
Yeah.
plus a $100,000 fine.
Right. And that's where some people think it was a little lenient considering,
Yeah.
what he was accused of.
What he was convicted of, yeah.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that's where it kind of becomes a bigger conversation, right? It's
Yeah.
not just about Menendez anymore. It's
Yeah.
about what kind of message does this send?
Right.
Is this a strong enough deterrent?
Other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will this actually make other politicians think twice,
Mhm.
before accepting these kinds of gifts or doing these kinds of favors?
Yeah. Or does it almost make it seem like,
Yeah.
politicians can get away with things?
Or that there's different sets of rules, for the powerful and then for everyone else.
Exactly. Yeah. And that just makes you think about,
Yeah,
the system as a whole.
totally.
And, if people feel like they can't trust politicians to not be influenced by money,
Right.
then what does that do to our faith in,
Yeah.
the government?
Exactly. One of the articles actually quotes a political science professor who says that this case, quote, reinforces the perception that Washington is a swamp where special interests hold sway,
Ooh.
which is a powerful statement.
Yeah, it is.
And I think it really underscores the need for more, transparency and accountability in government.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, for you listening out there, this case, I think, raises a really important question. Like, how can we, as citizens, hold our elected officials accountable?
Right.
How do we make sure they're actually working for us
Yeah,
and not for the highest bidder?
absolutely. How do we make sure that our voices are being heard
Exactly.
over the roar of, campaign donations?
Yeah. It's a tough one.
It's a tough question, but it's one worth thinking about,
Yeah.
We need to be informed, and engaged
Yeah,
and ready to ask those tough questions.
absolutely, because,
Because at the end of the day, like a healthy democracy
yeah,
depends on the trust and participation of its citizens.
couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a great takeaway for everyone out there listening.
Yeah, I hope people really think about that.
Yeah, keep that question in mind as you move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, join us next time
We'll be back.
for another fascinating topic that will definitely get those wheels turning.
Absolutely. Always something new to explore.
Always.
Always more to uncover.
Always.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
See ya.